anybody driving know that traffic gets on your nerves, and with some kids in the back seat going crazy, you know, that's just double trouble. And with this movie, kids, you know, not only are a nuisance, but they sabotage the whole trip.
Corkscrew!
You take real life and you turn it on its ear when you do a film like this. And the beauty of the film is you take a man who has no experience with kids and you expose him to the worst of parenthood.
Is there a problem here, sir?
This little game I'm playing with the kids.
Boy, bring your butt back here!
And I'm totally unaware of everything that goes on. I'm thinking they're just going on a nice plane ride, and then it goes from the plane to the train, and then it goes from the train to the car. I think they've used every type of transportation in this film. I think there's even a horse somewhere in there.
And you know, that's one of my favorite scenes in the movie, because nobody would expect, you know, Cube on a horse, you know what I mean?
Hey, how you doing, baby?
Hi.
Oh, yeah, everything's cool. No problems. Can I call you back?
This film was originally written for Adam Sandler, and because of scheduling conflicts and whatnot, he wasn't able to do it, and then we got involved. And we thought by putting Cube in it, it actually made it a little more interesting, so it's not just your everyday family comedy.
Well, you know, I mean, I look at this film as a very colorblind film. And I think that the lead character could have been any comic actor, black or white. I think the problems that occur in this film are universal.
You know, we felt it was really important to bring in a director that really knows that genre of film. And, you know, for us, Brian, with his past experience, that's pretty much all he's done. We needed someone that we could kind of go to and say, hey, does this work for this audience?
I mean, with my company, Cube Vision, you know, our specialty is the rough edge, you know, comedy. You know, we wanted somebody who's done real family movies.
Well, I do consider myself someone whose career has been built on family entertainment. And I think I know the parameters that large audiences expect.
I never met Brian. He radios in a couple directions here and there, but for the most part, he's really absentee. I don't know if it's, he doesn't speak much English. Oh, director Brian. Fantastic. Good guy. You could tell when you work with Brian, he's genuinely having a great time. And that's really fun.
I believe that filmmaking is a full contact sport, and it's a team sport. And if you get everybody excited and playing hard together, you're going to play better and you're going to work better as a team. And that's a kind of energy that I try to promote.
I want to know how he sustains his energy for so long. This guy, he's like a kid himself, constantly getting the troops going. I mean, it's nice because it infects everyone. He's so excited about the project, and that in turn, it makes everyone else excited.
Brian is great to work with because he accepts our ideas, and he's very energetic, so it keeps the movie, you know, hyped up.
Now that's frontier justice.
We've been very fortunate that the people have really been fond of each other, that they have gelled, and Cube is a very giving lead actor who encourages people, you know, to give their best. You know, in basketball, he'd be a point guard, distributing the ball, letting other people doing the scoring.
I don't get in the way. You know, I don't let my ego get in the way. I don't let, you know, personas or nothing get in the way. You know, if it's all about giving of yourself, and that's what acting is about, giving and showing different parts of who you are in a role, you know, that's what you got to do. You know, I got to play the game like it's supposed to be played.
And I think he's a natural-born actor. I really do. Some people are just born with the ability to pretend, and he's got it. And he's got the ball, and he's running with it.
I mean, he wants to tell the story. He wants to tell the story with every bit of his being. And I think that's why he's been so successful.
And this is a good movie, you know, and that's what I want to be a part of. A lot of people don't see me in a lot of things that I always see myself in. So, you know, I would hate to get pigeonholed and typecast out here. in Hollywood with all the great movies being made, and they, you know, only want to put me in certain type of roles.
And a lot of the stuff that he does are things that he created, you know, rather than just, he doesn't wait for the studio to offer him. He says, what do I want to do, and how am I going to go about doing it?
So, you know, when I see a good movie, I'm going to jump on it. And, you know, part of entertaining people is to give them what they don't expect.
Well, I think you're playing a little bit against type. That to see Ice Cube take on kids, I think is not what you expect.
But see, when you meet the guy, he's really nice and he loves kids. He's got 4 of his own. So I don't think it's as much of a departure as most people would think.
There's something to be said for a man who can not be so conscious of making a mistake or looking silly or being funny.
I'll hook this up for you.
When we first started putting the movie together, you know, Cube said, let's get Nia Long, you know, she's perfect for this role. Cube and Nia Long, you know, first did Boys in the Hood together, and then from there they did the Friday film together, and so it's kind of everything's kind of come full circle.
They brought that chemistry, they brought the attraction, you know, that they share on screen, and Nia also gave us a real strong emotional base, because without a mother and a mother's worries about what's happening to her kids on this voyage, you lose reality.
Come on, you guys.
The first day Cube showed up in town for pre-production, he and I had, and I wouldn't call it a disagreement, but different concepts on how Nick should dress. And he summed it up very simply. He said, you want us to look like we belong together. I think we should look like we shouldn't belong together. And I think from that point, that is the basis of this relationship.
You know, I mean, I don't even look like I need to be with kids, you know what I mean? So it's all these little things that are making this movie good and making this movie have a lot of depth.
Hey!
We conducted a national talent search, the likes of which this country hasn't seen in many, many moons, to try and find the most talented kids in the country.
We hit a lot of different cities to try and find these 2 kids. But we just, you know, we saw these 2 kids, we really liked them, we brought them both into LA, did screen tests with both of them, and they looked like they fit.
They're amazing. And you know, that's saying something, because usually you work with kids, and it's like that old saying, animals and kids. You don't want to be working with them. It's a pleasure working with these kids. They're very professional, and they're still kids.
You know, some people just got it, and these 2 kids, they got it. Light up the screen, great actors, funny. You know, they real cool to work with. You know, a lot of people say don't work with kids and animals, and you know, these 2 kids are animals, but they cool to work with, you know what I mean?
Yo, 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 yo!
Hey, it's Marty. What's up, man? How's it going with those stupid little brats you got with you?
I didn't fashion Marty after anybody, really. I just wanted it to be how Cube and I have been in the past, whenever we've been together on a set. So I'm basically playing myself without the swearing.
Jay Moore, you know, he's my man. You know, when he was working on his TV show, I went over there and did a show with him, and I told him, I said, man, when we get a chance, you know, I want to do something together, because I just like his edge, I like his comedy, you know, he's not afraid to be himself and say what's on his mind.
It's easy. We're not doing Sophie's Choice here. I played a white guy. And there's only one white guy in the movie. Really. So I'm glad it's me. I'm the token white guy. I think it's about time this country got off their rear ends and turned the tables, and we start getting token white guys. And LL and Ice-T, who else? Don Cheadle, every African-American actor out there, I'm available. No one is gonna play your white friend better than me. Spike Lee,
They go eat you alive.
Yeah, you know, we had to reach back and get a legend. It was a cool work with her. It was my first time meeting her. I know Brian's worked with her before. And, you know, seeing her all them years on Star Trek and getting a chance to see her in person, you know, tell her how cool she is was real cool.
It's wonderful the way Brian casts against type, and the way the script read. Miss Mabel was not like me at all.
Miss Mabel take you on a guided tour to Sin City.
Nichelle Nichols and I have worked together several times, and I left at the opportunity to work at her again. It was great to watch her with us because everybody on the whole crew beamed in to watch Nichelle work.
Yes, Miss Mabel.
Having started the movie originally being a trip from Washington, D.C. to New York that became St. Louis to Chicago, that became St. Louis to Chicago, shot in Toronto, to being a journey from Portland to Vancouver.
Now, when they decided to come to Vancouver, you know, they consulted me, said, you know, how is that going to work? And I said, you know, it'll work fine if we make it a West Coast story. I mean, I think the director understood that. That's the way he pitched it, you know, that thank God that he didn't say, well, would you please come to Vancouver and make Chicago? Because then that starts to get difficult.
When we decided to make the film in the Pacific Northwest, we knew there would be one constant, and that would be rain. And so this is the wettest movie I have ever worked on.
What was helpful, frankly, was that the kind of continuity glitches that come up with trying to mix cloudy weather, let's say, or overcast with sun were virtually non-existent because the occasions that were sunny were very few and far between.
Well, we built that into the story. This is a story of a guy driving these kids from Portland to Vancouver, so we made rain part of the story, and it didn't hurt us too bad.
Oh, but Nick, this is a nice ride.
Oh, you like this, huh?
Yeah.
A great deal of the story takes place in a Navigator on the road. It's a road trip. And when the decision was taken to come up to Vancouver to shoot the picture during the rainy season, it was a huge challenge. So the decision was taken very early on to explore rear projection.
We got a system, our DP, Tom, he's got a system where he sets up where we can shoot a lot of the car stuff on stage with rear projection. You know, we got 3 or 4 Navigators cut in half so we can get our close-ups.
So that you're not limited to just what you can see through the front windshield over the dashboard, but to be inside of it and be part of it and not have to do this on the road while you're being towed up and back 70 times a day on the street with the noise and the trouble.
In the background, we have the rear projection, which were plates that were shot by second unit. Points of view of the car going down the hill at a rapid rate of speed. And then in the midground, we have real trees, which Joel Whist and the effects team have put together on a 30-foot long track. They're whipping those through the frame. And then we've got in the foreground, Cube on a motion control base in the vehicle. It's basically shake and bake.
Actually shot the scene that the director wanted for it to fly off of this hill. They put 4,300 boxes down where it was supposed to land to cushion the landing, so of course we can use the car again. Well, the stunt driver was a little overzealous and he missed all 4,300 boxes. That one hit the ground and pretty much exploded, so they said that Lincoln wants everything back, you know, no matter what state it's in. So I said now they had a good use for those 4,300 boxes we missed, because we can send what we have left back.
What was Mom thinking? I don't know. I like him. He's kind of funny.
And the journey that the Navigator takes really mirrors Nick's bachelorhood, because by the end, it too has been destroyed.
You know, one of the kids threw up in the car, so we cleaning the car, and they see a deer. And, you know, Nick is like, oh, no, the deer is nice. He's gentle. He wouldn't hurt a fly. And once the picture flashed, the deer go crazy. You know, the deer go postal on me.
And to accomplish this, we had an animatronic deer who was completely built just to throw punches.
And we've tried to make it safe for Ice Cube as much as possible by making silicone-tipped feet so it doesn't quite jab him. And then we also have legs for the front that can be used for close-up scenes. And they're made very safe so that the actor will not be hurt by it if he gets kicked in the face or whatever.
I work the deer, you know what I mean? The deer won't be coming back, you know, and the deer, you know, you see my eye, but you should have seen the deer lip, because his lip was like that big. So, you know, I'm still holding mine down, even though it's PG.
Now get your tail out of here before I kick some deer butt. Better run.
During pre-production, two of our writers thought it was a brilliant idea to expand the fantasy life of the film by having a Satchel Paige bobblehead.
Oh, Satchel Paige, you know, he's a hero from the Negro Leagues. You know, just as famous to me as Jackie Robinson, you know, and back there with Josh Gibson. And, you know, these are some of the Babe Ruths, or so to speak, of the Negro Leagues. And I could have used a contemporary ball player, but I just thought it would be a little more flavor if we had somebody from the old Negro Leagues.
I think it's one of those things that helps make the film unique. And I think it does more than it ever accomplished to make a full-fledged fantasy life part of this story.
Look out, ladies. Here we come.
When the writers presented us with the challenge of bringing a Satchel Paige bobblehead to life, we considered a number of ways to accomplish that. And after we're going through all these different processes, I remember that 10 years ago, I was visiting the Henson Creature Shop in London, and John Stevens, who was the head of it then, showed me something like this, which was basically an animatronic puppet, except the puppet didn't exist. It only existed in animation. And as you can see, it's real time, and they scan our satchel in a computer 360 degrees, and then each one of these buttons and movements on the stick here, you got eyes, and on the other one is primarily mouth, and together, working in tandem, you can really create a complete performance, a complete lifelike performance.
It's a really unique way of capturing performance and applying it to a computer-generated realm. We have to make sure our computer-generated imagery matches the live action in a believable way. It has to, while it's a little bit supernatural, people have to believe that it could be real. Otherwise, we're not doing our job.
The actual head goes through a process where we build an underlying muscle structure, and the muscles are actually based on a real muscle structure of your face.
So although it's a plastic toy in the story, it's going to move in a very believable human way and engage the audience in that way.
Every day you're utilizing tricks to make people believe what you want them to believe. We're just magicians, and the people sitting in the theaters are our patsies.
Hey, Nick, do you know what they call a 50-year-old bachelor?
What?
Lonely.
You know, it's not really about him getting with this woman, you know, it's about him connecting with these kids at the end of the day, and them connecting to him, and you know, them kind of changing a little bit and adjusting a little bit to be down with each other.
I think when the audience sees Ice Cube in this role, they're gonna say, you know what? This is different for him. Because I've seen Cube do a lot of stuff, but I've never really seen Ice Cube do a movie where he stretches, where he has like Jay Moore as his white friend.
At the end of the day, you know, what we're saying here is that family is the most important thing that one has. You know, you can have a lot of material things, but at the end of the day, the important thing is family. And as long as you have that, then everything's cool.
And me personally, as an audience member, every time I go to the movie and I don't see Jay Moore playing the white guy, I'm a little disappointed. I am. I've been white, like, my whole life. I got it down.
In a gypsy business, you find a home for a while, and that's what it feels like here. And it's just, I think everyone has drawn confidence from one another, and it's been a very giving set.
Maybe it won't be so bad to turn out like you after all.
We do everything you could possibly do to a vehicle and its inhabitants over the course of the film. And it was those possibilities that appealed to me. So what I always refer to as the silent comedy moments. Just an opportunity for large-scale visual comedy.
I feel much better now.